Banks generate their highest profits from interest on debt. Corporations thrive when you spend every cent you earn. Governments collect the most revenue from the fixed taxes on your paycheck. When these forces align, the financial struggle of the majority isn't a glitch, it's a feature of how the machine was built. This extraction is the lifeblood of the economy. The banks need your interest, the corporations need your consumption, and the tax code is written to favor the investor and the business owner over the standard W-2 employee. Most of us enter this system without a map because our education prioritizes obedience over ownership. We are trained to be high-functioning cogs in the corporate engine rather than being taught how to retain the wealth we create. Reclaiming your time starts with tracing a single earned dollar. The moment it hits your account, it fractures into 3 pathways. You become either a consumer, fueling the shopping cart, a saver, watching the locked safe, or an investor, building the rising bar chart. Identifying which path your income currently takes is the only way to stop serving as fuel for someone else's empire and start building your own. The consumer path is the default for most of the country. It is an identity built on a single, expensive habit, spending future income today to buy things that lose value tomorrow. This usually begins with the 3 C's, starting with cars. Most people measure affordability by the monthly payment, forgetting that a car is a liability with a limited lifespan. You are essentially paying interest to drive an asset that is actively losing value every mile you travel. Credit cards then accelerate the trap. With interest rates frequently hitting 25%, a household with just $6,500 in debt can end up paying $15,000 in interest alone if they only make the minimum payments. It is an exchange of long-term freedom for short-term stuff. This creates a cycle of lifestyle inflation. The moment a consumer receives a raise or a bonus, their first instinct is to celebrate by increasing their overhead, buying a nicer car or a bigger home. This keeps the baseline of actual wealth at 0. Even as the income bar rises, it is chased by a red debt bar that matches it perfectly. You might be making more money, but you're simply qualifying for more credit. Following the consumer path means you are mathematically obligated to work forever just to pay off the interest on your past choices. The second route is the saver. This is often an identity driven by fear, a belief that the only way to be protected is to hoard as much cash as possible. While it feels secure, holding excessive cash in a standard bank account creates a slow bleed. Inflation continuously erodes the purchasing power of those dollars, meaning the longer you save, the less those savings can actually buy. There is a deep irony here. The banks themselves do not act like savers. They take your stagnant deposits and immediately lend them out to generate their own returns. They are using your safety to fund their growth. Many savers also outsource their retirement to government safety nets. But with Social Security funds dropping year after year, relying on these programs for a comfortable life is becoming a massive gamble on a system that is running out of money. Real wealth cannot be saved into existence. By refusing to take calculated ownership, the saver guarantees their money will slowly lose its value to the very system they're trying to hide from. The only path that leads to autonomy is the investor. This identity is about shifting from being a person who pays the system to a person who owns a piece of the system. While consumers hand their dollars to a business in exchange for a product, investors take their dollars and buy a share of that business. They intercept the flow of money, collecting profits as the company grows. This ownership brings a significant tax advantage. While a surgeon might pay half their income in federal, state, and FICA taxes, the person who simply owns the stocks or real estate pays a long-term capital gains rate of just 20. Entering this path means ignoring the toxic social media noise. 8 out of 10 Americans make less than $100,000 a year, and you do not need a 6-figure salary to start intercepting the flow of money. It does, however, require the courage to stop settling. Too many people stay in careers they hate because they feel too deep into the corporate ladder. effectively choosing a comfortable trap over a difficult escape. There are real early sacrifices. You will have to say no to the gym, healthy food, or social events for a few years while you build your investment base. You are trading your temporary comfort for permanent freedom. But remember the bigger purpose. Wealth is only one pillar of a good life. It is meaningless if you arrive at the finish line with your physical, mental, or spiritual health in ruins. Mastering the mechanics of money is simply a tool to buy back your autonomy. It is about creating the financial space to live a fulfilling life on your own exact terms.
Millions of people wake up, clock in for 40 hours a week, and exhaust themselves, only to end the month with zero left over. The modern economy functions as an extraction machine. Banks generate profits from your debt, corporations thrive on your consumption, and governments rely on the high taxes paid on your labor. To navigate this machine, you have to understand the three distinct roles it forces its participants to play: the consumer, the employee, and the investor. Unless you actively learn the rules of money and consciously claim the third role, the system will automatically default you into the first two. Persistent financial struggle is often the structural result of playing a role designed to subsidize the system's growth rather than your own. The consumer archetype is defined by a specific trade. They give away their future income to purchase depreciating liabilities today. This chart shows the cost of that impatience, specifically through the 3 C's: cars, credit cards, and lines of credit. Carrying an average $6,500 credit card balance at 25% interest while making only minimum payments results in $15,000 paid in pure interest. Investing that same $6,500 at that same rate over 30 years generates over $5 million. Saving cash to avoid the bank's interest fees flips the equation. When those interest payments stay in your pocket, they become the raw material for building your own wealth. Lifestyle inflation further compounds the trap. When a consumer receives a raise or a bonus, they often immediately trade it for a more expensive lifestyle, financing a trip to Cancun or a nicer car to match their neighbors. As the debt grows, many fall into shiny object syndrome, gambling what little they have left on get-rich-quick schemes or meme stocks in a desperate attempt to catch up. This cycle makes the consumer the primary fuel source for the economic machine, as they spend their present working to pay for their past. The employee archetype seeks safety by following traditional financial rules that have become outdated in the modern economy. They often hoard cash in basic bank accounts, hoping for protection. While that money sits idle, losing value to inflation, the bank actively invests it to generate a profit for itself. Many employees also rely on failing bureaucratic systems for their future. Millions reach retirement age only to discover that Social Security or their expected pensions are not enough to cover basic living expenses. Even high salary performers face this limitation. A surgeon or a professional athlete can earn millions, but their income is tied to their physical presence. When they stop performing, the cash flow stops instantly. This scale shows the ultimate penalty for relying solely on labor. Ordinary job income is taxed at the highest rates, taking nearly half your paycheck. Meanwhile, long-term capital gains are taxed at a maximum of 20%. The system rewards capital, not labor. Settling for the employee archetype ensures you pay the highest premium into the system, while generating very little compounding wealth for yourself. The investor is the only role engineered to retain the wealth the other two roles give away. Instead of fighting the system, the investor learns its mechanics. They take their earnings and acquire the assets, stocks and equities, commercial real estate, and profitable businesses that the consumer is busy paying for. They maintain an ironclad rule: never invest money required for daily survival. Market losses are an educational certainty for everyone, including Warren Buffett, and investments require time to recover and grow. The core mechanic of wealth is delayed gratification.
Letting assets compound untouched over decades allows your money to grow into an unstoppable network of passive income. The true indicator of wealth is the volume of assets generating income while you are off the clock, regardless of the size of your daytime salary. On this journey, you have to separate social media fiction from reality. Most Americans make less than $100,000 a year, despite what internet comparison culture might suggest. Accumulating assets is a failure if it comes at the expense of your physical or mental health. Your body is the only vehicle you have to actually enjoy your wealth. Shifting into the investor role buys back your time. This provides the mental bandwidth to focus on a deeper personal drive, the reason that gets you out of bed every morning, once you are no longer chasing the next bill. Ultimately, understanding these three archetypes serves a single practical function. It removes the system's ability to dictate how you spend your life.